Hey, beautiful people. Welcome back to my channel. I guess you can call it a podcast. You guys, we're here today to talk about Ready to Love Reunion Part 1. And as you all know, I have been looking forward to this. I'm like, oh, it's going to go down. We about to get into it. We about to have some good television. Even though some things did go down and they did get into it, for some reason I just had like secondhand embarrassment. I just felt like, ooh, child, the ghetto, as I was watching the whole thing. And I think it was more so the people on stage were doing a lot, but it was more so the people backstage and the way they were acting and the way they were hooping and hollering and overreacting and just loud. And I was just like, this is too much. What are we doing? Like, this is the most ghetto cast ever. Like, honestly. And it's all stemming from backstage. Now, that's not to say that the other, seasons didn't have stuff going on backstage because they did, but I don't remember people carrying themselves like this. Like these people do not carry themselves well, and that's it. That's the message. If you are new to the channel, and actually forget that, if you are a new subby, because I have some, and I thank you for subscribing. Welcome to the Beautiful People family. We are more than happy to have you here. If you are new to the channel, please consider subscribing. It is absolutely free. And not a huge deal to you, but a huge deal to me, for real, for real. Like the video and comment. Let's talk about some things, but let's get into it. I could be wrong. Like some people could just be loving the fact that, it was a lot of drama, it was a lot of stuff going on, but people did not make themselves look good. But we're going to get into it. Let's talk. All right, so we start off looking at a package from a little montage or whatever from when they had the white party and they were all there. I guess it was a pool party, and they were all dancing inappropriately for people who just met each other. I'm sorry. I mean, it was overboard. It was a lot. Now, I'm not saying I'm not a prude. I'm not saying you can't twist and do your thing or whatever, but you don't know these guys and they are bumping and grinding like all over you. All over you on national television. It just, again, the look of this whole cast and what was happening is just no good. But we get to Devin and his foot fetish with Charisse and everything. And he tries to go deep. I don't know why. I don't know what's so deep about the fact that he has a foot fetish. Oh, I just wanted to be my real, authentic self. And I said I just wouldn't hide anything. So, yeah, I have feet in my phone. Okay, you got a foot fetish. Who cares? Like, honestly. And then him trying to be so deep about owning his stuff and being the real him. And once again, he didn't mention that kid though. Like I was hoping something would come out with, yes, I'm gonna, own my foot fetish and also my kid. That didn't happen though, so it's fine. Fake deep, we get it. All right, so we're on to the mask and Randall. Blah. And the fact that they ended up choosing each other, but we see the little montage back, and we see her um, doing the whole thing like she did with the are you falling in love, or maybe you love, and then she the one that went in for the kiss. Like she's just very aggressive and very thirsty and very oh God, these ladies drive me crazy because girls, you are the pack, like you are the prize. And I feel like these women on these shows don't know it, or either they're just willing to do whatever to be on TV. But we get back to the studio, and she's just like, nephew Tommy starts off by saying, you guys have had a hold on. All right, sorry, y'all. That was actually the mail lady. And long story, the little motion thing didn't go off, but it did go off. And maybe it was God giving me grace because it didn't let the phone go off. And I still ended up seeing it and interrupting myself anyway. Because y'all know normally my phone goes off during taping. So it's ridiculous. But back to them. So he starts off by saying that they have had some ups and downs in their relationship. And I'm like, ain't even been together that long. How many ups and downs? Like they had ups and downs before they even got together. It's all some bullshit. And they're like, yeah. And then y'all, did Jamala, did the mask always talk like that? Like she's like, yeah, and you gotta go through some things. And I'm like, did she always speak like that? Or was she putting on, like, I don't know. It was a totally different voice to me. Maybe I'm wrong, maybe I'm off. But apparently, it was like pulling teeth. He's trying to get them to say What's wrong? What's happening? Where are you guys at? Oh, we trying to make it through. We working it out. It was a waste of time, basically. So you guys, the whole time the mask is talking, Brown Girl is just rolling her eyes and sighing and looking crazy. And I'm like, girl, you should stop because you have made yourself look bad enough during the whole season and you should not be doing it. If I were her, honestly, the way that they treated her on this whole entire show and her less than smart ass kept staying there for it. Give me a little bit more, give me a little bit more. I would just have gone to this reunion, answered the questions that were asked of me, and I'm done. Because fuck all of y'all. Honestly, the girls didn't like you, the guys didn't like you, they played you, you played yourself, and you gonna come here and play yourself even further? Like, why do you care? Why do you care about him and her and the fact that they're not dating exclusively anymore? Why are you rolling your eyes? Why are you so mad at her? Is it because she got him? But look what she got. She got a goof troop. He is a goof troop, and I don't know why he had so many connections. Everybody is just, oh my god. But for her to be sitting there doing all these faces and everything, you should have definitely just hushed your face. Like, honestly, stop making faces. Stop having something to say or some feelings. Why do you still have feelings for any of these people here? It's ridiculous. Next up is Charisse. Oh, Charisse came in with her guard all the way up. This is what nephew Tommy is saying. She was, a bit, well, he didn't say aggressive, but basically talking about how she was in the beginning, which we know how she was in the beginning. So we see the whole montage of her being really mean and rude and talking about this girl. I can't remember her name, but it's along like Shaniqua or something like that. Not even trying to be funny. It's something like that. And she's saying how she's loud and she's sitting with her legs open and maybe she's a dancer. And when we get back to the studio, Cherie says she is passionate. She doesn't mean any harm. And now she's seeing that she's a little too direct. Tommy says, "You're learning something." She says, "Yeah." But she says when people get to know her, they know that she doesn't mean any harm. Then the camera goes to Zoe, the big y'all, I'm trying not to call these people out their names, but am I really? Because they all have nicknames. But yeah, so then he asked, was anyone offended? So then the girl, her name is Dominica, something like that. It wasn't Shaniqua, but I was close. Dominica says that, yeah, she tried to make it seem like I was the ghetto girl of the bunch and we were all drinking. Everyone was loud. I don't know why she singled me out, but the way that it was edited, sweetie, they did kind of have you being super duper loud. They did. Like, she wasn't just talking out of her neck. Like, when we saw it, we was like, she's foul for saying it out loud. However, she wasn't just talking out of her neck. And then they talked about the fact of her not being a dancer, and Cherise calling her a dancer. And she's like, well, the name is exotic, and we're in Miami. She could be any kind of a dancer, not necessarily a stripper. And Tommy is like, Cherise, please. And then again, they show Zoe, and he's fidgeting, doing the whole brown girl thing, the whole Kayla thing. I'm like, he's such a bitch. Y'all, sorry, couldn't help it. He's a bitch. But the girl, like I said, Dominica is talking, saying how she didn't appreciate, being that, and if she was a stripper, her name would be Mocha or something. Yeah, Cherie said they ended up having a conversation. She apologized. Everything was squashed. And then we get to where everybody is just like, oh, it's time to shit on Cherie. So Swayze, who she has been really nice to, says, well, I didn't think she's being loud. I didn't think she was being loud. And then, of course, Zoe, well, I think that was just her personality. And if that's her personality and we can't deal with it, then oh well. And Cherie's was like, well, if my personality is my personality, you can't deal with it, then oh well. I said, yes, ma'am. I said, yes, ma'am. Okay. Y'all know I like Cherise a little bit. I do. And she gonna eventually end up doing too much, but listen, they be coming for her. So when Cherie says that, Zoe is just like, yeah, I don't rock with you, you fake as fuck. And he just keeps yelling, you fake as fuck. And I'm like, is that all this meathead can say? You fake as fuck? Like, is that all you got? This is how you want to go down in history, is screaming at this woman, you fake as fuck? Do you have other words? Do you know anything else? Like, it's ridiculous. And also, I'm sorry, the fact that Tommy didn't stop him and tell him to watch his mouth, lower his tone, don't scream at the lady. Yeah, I wasn't a fan of that either. But he's gonna ask him, cause Zoe said, "Well, you called me and I never called you back." And apparently she texted him after he got eliminated and was like, "How you doing?" Sharice, why? Why are you doing this? This is what I'm saying about these women. And I also saw where she did an interview. I didn't watch the whole thing because it was too much and it was too long and I just didn't care enough. I'm sorry. But she did the Little Black Book interview and she kept saying how she was still trying to be friends with Samson, and we're working towards this friendship and this and that or whatever. And I'm like, why the fuck are you trying to be friends with him after everything he said when you let him go? When you told him, look, you're not feeling me, and then you found out he really didn't even like you, why are you trying to be friends with someone who doesn't like you? Why would you go back and call Zoe after the stink he put up? And, when it was time for him to leave, he was very disrespectful to you, very ignorant to you. Like, ladies, y'all can't do that. When someone shows you for real that they don't fool with you, and especially being disrespectful, you have one time to disrespect me, and then I'm done with you. Like, I don't need you in my life. I don't need you anywhere around me. That's it. So for her to still be texting him, and then Tommy asks him, well, what did she text you? And that's when he tells, and I'm like, Tommy is more interested in the mess than the fact that this man is screaming at her. I'm sorry. Sharice could have been total bullshit in the beginning, which she was, but the fact that he's sitting here screaming, she's being calm. At this point, she's being calm, and you're allowing it, not cool. And then the people in the back, once again, so embarrassing. They're loud, they're ridiculous, they're so loud, and they're showing them to the point where we can't hear shit else that's going on stage because they're so loud in the back and they're showing it. And I'm just like, what are we doing here? Where are we? So he asked Sharice what she took away from the whole experience, and she said that she wouldn't be so guarded and so hard, and she would relax a little bit. And she's like, she's just used to having to fight people like this, and she points to Zoe. I mean, I get it. You want to get your little dig in or whatever, but you should have just left him alone. Fuck Zoe. Zoe is no one. Like you were telling him, Sharice, what you say doesn't matter. He doesn't matter. So why even address him? But that gets him started up again with the fake as fuck thing. And now Tommy tells him to relax. But then Zoe starts mentioning something about an ex that she drugged, and once again in the back they're loud as fuck. We can't hear. We don't know what's happening on stage because they're too busy being loud in the back. And you guys, I didn't hate the reunion, so I'm not trying to shit on it totally. Was it entertaining? Sure. It was just frustrating. It would have been more entertaining if we probably didn't show the back or maybe didn't hear the back. I mean, because they were being so animated with their jumping up and down and moving around. They could have showed the back with no volume, like honestly, and we still would have got, oh, okay, they're having a reaction back there. But I was so frustrated with this reunion more than any ever actually on this franchise. I've never been so irritated with the reunion being so ghetto fab. It was just unreal. But anyway, we're done with this segment. We are moving on. Next up is Mike, Brown Girl, and Chihuahua. And you guys, we get the whole montage of them and the whole love triangle or whatever. And then we see a never before seen footage of Mike letting Kayla down and saying, listen, I do not want to continue on this journey with you. You know what she says? It's not what I wanted to hear. What? No. How about fuck off, dude? No, I'm just playing. Like, you don't want to be that girl. But just, all right, cool. And it should have never gotten to the point of him dismissing her. She should have dismissed herself a long time ago. How many times can I say it? Like, she just played herself so bad on this show. But yeah, so we get back to the studio, and I'm just like, well, we're not back to the studio yet, but I just feel like in their little montage, they didn't show anything that she was saying about Chihuahua, the rude things that Kayla was saying and the back and forth. I'm like, listen, if we're going to be messy, let's be messy. I just knew for sure that was going to come up, and it was going to be, why'd you say that? Why were you talking about her like that? Like, if we doing this whole love triangle thing and we talking about it, let's talk about it. Let's get with the shits. Like, this stuff is just not interesting, what y'all talking about. Oh, and I'm sorry, I cannot keep out the fact that this girl says in her confessional, bad bitches don't cry, yet I'm over here crying over this man. Oh my God. Like when I tell you, it just goes from bad to worse. Why are you crying over somebody you don't know who was being shitty to you the whole entire time and was showing you, and you're smart enough to know you picked up on it every step of the way, Kayla. Now, I'm not even gonna call you brown girl, I'm talking to you. You picked up on it every step of the way that this man was not feeling you, and yet you still stayed and you still. How did you really develop feelings for this guy that quickly? Somebody who's treating you like shit. What is wrong with you? And besides your wigs, you're a pretty girl. So why are you downplaying yourself like this? Like you don't need to be doing this. So back in the studio, we find out that what's her name, Brown Girl, thinks that her connection was more with Mike than what the Chihuahua was, and he's like, "How do you figure?" Well, we had more in common. No, I feel like they had more sexual chemistry. But how could you possibly feel like you had a bigger connection if he never once told you you were number one? Constantly told her and showed her from your mouth, these are your words, kind of sort of roundabout, that, he would always choose her in front of the group and choose you behind the scenes. Stop making yourself look a mess. But she's not the only one, you guys. Why are these people acting like this over Mike? Because, so as they're talking about it or whatever, Tommy asks, is anyone surprised that he chose the Chihuahua over Brown Girl? And they're all like, no. So then we have the dancer. That's so foul. She's not a dancer, but it's quicker than her real name, Dominique. Dominica. We're just gonna call her the dancer. She's not a dancer. That's so shitty. But anyway, she comes just out of left field saying, she is rooting for love or whatever. However, she just didn't agree with the way he treated her because she felt like her and Brandy have the same personality and he just wasn't giving her the time of day. And I'm just sitting here like, what? What is happening here? Are you another one saying, why didn't you pick me? Why didn't you choose me? Come on. So the non-dancer, goes on to explain that they grew up in the same neighborhood, went to the same school, graduated at the same time or whatever. Um, how didn't they know each other or something? I don't know, but she's just saying that they had things in common, and she felt like he was trying to basically avoid her and wanted her off the show because he's still dating someone who makes chocolate strawberries or whatever. Her name starts with a J. Tommy says, Mike, are you dating somebody else? And he's like, no, it's all about Brandy right now. And I'm like, y'all listen to the wording. It's all about Brandy right now. While we're on this stage right now, while we're doing this show right now. But she just said that he was downplaying her. And then Mike goes on to explain that, listen, when we were in deliberations, all these men, 10 men, said they weren't, they called out your name basically. And you come down on me. And then, Tommy interjects, like, listen, I just feel like she felt like there should be a mutual respect since you guys, you know, I don't know. I don't understand what she was saying, though, in terms of did they graduate together? Did they know each other from the hood? I don't know. But yeah, Tommy was just saying you guys should be respectful. And Mike is like, listen, I'm sorry I didn't pick you. And I'm like, oh, that's so foul. And she's like, I didn't say I wanted you to pick me. I said, well, what are you saying? Because it kind of sounds like, why didn't you pick me? Or why wasn't I in the running? She's like, oh, he just didn't give me the time of day. You guys, the stuff that these women say, the stuff that's coming out of their mouths, I would absolutely never say to a guy. You listen, I would never say this shit to somebody. Are you kidding me? Like, I don't care enough. I don't. And even if I did, you wouldn't hear it coming out my mouth. I'm not going to make myself look crazy for nobody. Period. No, I'm lying. I did one time, though. All right, and let me clarify. But I did one time. I didn't say stuff like this, but yeah, I did kind of make myself look a little crazy. But who hasn't? Haven't we all been crazy for one person, at least one person in our lives? And you learn from it and you never let it happen again, because that is why I would never let it happen again. So in the back, we have Round the Way Girl being super loud, over talking everybody. Yeah, if Mike wouldn't have kissed Kayla, then, maybe she would have got chosen or whatever. And it's because you couldn't. So I don't even understand what she was saying because she was so loud. But Zoe it looks up and he's like, yeah, it's all Swayze's fault. If he wouldn't have lost, and then Swayze said something about if he would have been older, he would have won. And Zoe's like, what type of fucking sense does that make, nigga? Like, he kept calling him nigga and saying different things. So, Swayze, look, full force, don't buy it, don't even try it. So he gets up and he starts taking off his jacket, and then Zoe is like, well, come on, man. And I'm like, yeah, because you a bitch ass nigga, and all you want to do is run up on women and talk about women and talk to women, but as soon as a man come up on you, you ain't got nothing to say. What you getting all upset about? Like, you feel like you could talk shit to whoever, and as soon as a man says something, you back down. He's a bitch. That's why I called him a bitch earlier. He is. Yeah, so this broad gets up and walks out as he's trying to ignore and look past. Like, he looks scared as all get out because Swayze got up and was like, I'll beat this nigga ass. Like, I'm not going to play these games with him. And I was like, yes, yes, full force. And they're pulling him away or whatever. And Alonzo is looking scared as all get out. So he gets up and he basically runs. I mean, he's jetting. I gotta go. I'm out of here. And he goes to get in the truck, and one of the producers running after him, and he's like, "Listen, this show don't make me or whatever. I'm Alonzo. I have a $35 million portfolio." And I'm like, okay, but don't you feel crazy being on this show, seeing as how you have a $35 million portfolio? You are not representing yourself as a man who has a $35 million portfolio. You are embarrassing yourself and your clients. So he's leaving. He's gone, and that's great. He ran. He hauled ass. He's a bitch, basically. Period. Yeah, so as he's driving away, and then they go back into the backstage or whatever, and Samson is eating his peanuts or whatever it is, and he was looking a little, I don't know, he's looking a little sweet while he was eating his peanuts, and I ain't got no problem with it. I have zero problem with it. But he was in touch with his feminine side, and that's okay. Y'all, I'm not even kidding you. Sometimes the men that are in touch with their feminine side, like when they sit with their legs crossed or certain things, I don't have a problem with at all. Like actual heterosexual men do that. Like when they're kind of metrosexual and just really care about their appearance and all. I like that shit. I like that. But so no shade. But then we have Devin walk past with his leggings on. So he had on he had on his jacket and leggings, and they, had a little exchange talking about how they still have more hours left. And I was just like, this was a very, very different cast. Like, this cast is just very different. We'll just say that. All right, yeah, we're gonna breeze past this real quick. So we have Shakira, and we're talking about her and her issues, and we see her little montage or whatever. And then we get on her and Round the Way Girl and the fact that she was upset with her for bringing up her situation, which even in the back, the girls were just like, we still don't even know what her real situation is. So if they didn't know, then what is Round the Way Girl even talking about? Like, how does she know that she had a situation if she didn't know what the situation was? Now, the Shakira girl rubbed a whole lot of people the wrong way. And eventually, in the end, when it was time for her to go, I felt like it was time for her to go too, because everything just became a victim thing. Like, it really was. And if for nothing else, she needed to go be healed. So she didn't rub me the wrong way in terms of, I didn't think she was a bad person or anything. I just felt like maybe she wasn't ready for what was going on here. I did think that Round the Way Girl was wrong for bringing it up, whatever it was or it wasn't, for her to say her situation when if he didn't know she even had a situation, now that leads to, oh, well, what was your situation? And yeah, it just wasn't her place. So they get into a back and forth where she, says she wrote her on Instagram and she didn't accept her apology or whatever. They're not going to be friends. So then, for some reason, nephew Tommy asked Sharice what she felt about it. And I'm like, why? And Sharice is like, she didn't say anything wrong. Yeah, she did, Sharice. She shouldn't have brought it up, period. And why are you sitting up here looking like you trying to kiss ass and be her friend? This girl who told you she's not your friend, she was never your friend, she was only there to play the game. Why are you seeming like you are kissing ass to be her friend? And then later on, we hear where Sharice did go and whisper in her ear something about them being friends or whatever. So they end up getting into it, which we'll get to that later. But I'm just like, so what this looks like to me is exactly what it was. It really was Sharice kissing up in her ass trying to be her friend, because yeah, she shouldn't have brought that girl's business up. But flip side, Shakira, just go home. Just go home. Okay, but then wrapping it up, what do we have? We have Tommy like, whoa, 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 whoa. If nothing else, you guys should have a respect level. And that's all he says to stop all the fights. Like he doesn't have anything else to say, and that's how he ends everything. In a way, I feel like cool. He don't have to, get all beside himself and scream and yell or whatever. But on the other hand, it's like, dude, did you watch the show? Do you know what's going on? Do you have anything else to say? Nothing else to add to the conversation? Like, oh my God, at least when Brandy, Bravo Andy, does his thing or whatever, he's watched the show. He know what he's talking about. So he's able to jump in with some just off the cuff stuff or even tell a little bit of, how he felt or what's going on or his opinion. Nephew Tommy ain't doing none of that. Like he's sticking to the script and I don't really like that. All right, and so we are definitely about to zoom past this because absolutely nothing happened except for they were being loud on stage. Now you got all the loud ones on stage. Well, not all of them, but oh my god. Um, the guy LJ, which I didn't even understand how he got past the first episode, but all these women that's on the screen with him right here still dating this fool. Looney was up on the stage as well, but she said she's not dating him because she doesn't share. But these women are openly sharing this man, and I'm like, this is disgusting. I am disgusted with you women, and they just got a kick out of it. They thought it was cute. The shit's not cute. Like it's really not cute. Not to mention he's sitting here saying, "Yeah, I still talk to my ex. I still go out with her. I still," and I'm just like, he. Oh my God, we have a montage of him singing. He sounds a mess. He sounds a fool, and he looks. Why are you guys dating this man? Is it for free food? Is he taking you all out for free food and that's what you're doing? Because other than that, I don't see it. And I'm very disappointed that Charisse got her ass up there. Like, I feel like I think more of Charisse than she thinks of herself. And it's just got to be because why would you dumb yourself down to this situation? You won. You won the whole freaking series. Well, this what do you call it, season or whatever. You won, sis. The same way Sabrina won her season when she walked away. But for you to dumb yourself down to being involved in this situation, I'm just disgusted. And I am very happy that I have decided not to review this show anymore. Any more seasons, I don't even know if I'll look at because it's a total waste of time. It's not even enjoyable. And anytime you have to sit up here and like really not like anyone, not really like anyone on the cast. That's a problem. It really is. Like, I don't want to make reviews where I'm just being shitty to everybody, where I'm just going in on everybody. I would like to enjoy someone. I would like to get some fun out of it, and it's just not fun. So, it is what it is. That's the end of them. Thank God. All right, so we about to wrap it up. They get into a huge argument over the fact that Cherise said Round the Way Girl has a sugar daddy. She said she never said that. And I'm like, I can't stand when somebody is blatantly lying. Like someone saying you said something and you said it never came out of your mouth. One of these two women are liars. Like that just irritates me so much. I can't stand liars. We don't know who's lying, but Samson said he believes Charisse because she said something about it before. So I believe Charisse too because where would you just come up with sugar daddy? Like why would you just come up with that? So we're gonna just say that Around the Way Girl is a liar. So she ends up telling Charisse that she'll slap the fuck out of her, she'll beat her ass, and that's why Charisse got up. And while yes, it did look very ignorant, I mean I can see why she got mad, but she should have just played her dust. It's nothing. Pay her dust. It's nothing. But once again, Tommy, stops them, or at least he tries to stop them. And then we can see that on the next episode, girl, brown girl is sitting there like, oh my God, why does it have to be black women? And she's all overacting and being ridiculous. And I'm like, you should be sitting there shutting the hell up. You shouldn't have anything to say. Sis, they don't like you here. Why are you just performing for these people? And further, giving examples of why they shouldn't like you. Why let me leave her alone. But she's just a ridiculous woman. I think, nope, I'm not even going to say that because it's mean. But that's the end of the episode, you guys. And we'll talk about the next one and then we're done. We are done. So if you are still here, you are the real MVP. If you have not already, please consider subscribing. I promise that all my reviews are not super negative and rude like this. but I mean, this cast, um, and yeah, let me just get over here. I just be wanting to say stuff, but I'm gonna leave people alone. Like, comment, subscribe, smooches.